Hey designers, welcome to yet another YouTube video of mine. Today we're going to be designing a poster for Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty is an MMORPG. I'm super excited to try it out, and I thought it would be an interesting thing to also design a poster for it. I personally have no experience with the game. There are people that have been playing for about a year now in Korean servers, I believe, but I have not tried the game at all, and I'm going to give it a shot just because I really enjoy MMORPG games, and I feel like this would be a cool concept to do. I'm thinking to do a brutalism / punk style. We're going to see how it turns out. Let's get to it. So we're going to do 18 by 24 inches, 72 resolution, just because I don't intend on selling this or printing this at all. I'm just doing it for fun and I want to save space on my computer. RGB for now. I could change it later if I ever have to. Same with resolution, and let's just create it. I'm just going to quickly make a guide so that I can follow along and it can be pretty consistent. I'm going to have a border on the outside, probably around 30 or 40 pixels. I think 30 is good. I just want a nice space between everything, and I don't want the imagery to bleed out of my poster that I'm going to make today. I'm also going to go with a solid black background, and then I'm going to do the text Throne and Liberty, and obviously we're going to switch this to white for now, and we have to play with the fonts that we have now. I do have some that could be pretty cool for this poster. I believe it's this one here, and I have another one. I think it's something to do with cards. Yeah, House of Cards. Yeah, I definitely like this much better. We're just gonna make this smaller, and then we'll just adjust it based off of that, and then we just can resize it and we can play around with where we put it. Obviously I want this in the center, and that definitely looks cool. I do like how they originally have it similar to like this, and then this has a nice spacing. Let's just say that. And then we can do a much smaller end, but I don't think it really works with this type of font. Could do something along the lines of this, but I think we're just going to go with what we had originally. Maybe we can do and Liberty together. Yeah, I think that looks better than how it was before. I feel like I would like to do this in one big title instead. Like, what if we did it kind of like that? I feel like that's a pretty cool concept as well. And I think it would be better than what we had before. I also want to have the date that it's going to be released, which I believe is 26th of September 2024. Another thing that I want to have is the platforms that it's going to be released on, which in this case is going to be Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. So we're just going to quickly add those. And I'm essentially just preparing the design. I'm not going to be using these yet. I just want to have everything that I need for the poster here ready. I've also already added all the classes here that I'm going to be using. Essentially, this game is similar to New World, where you can have different weapons, and then that will be your class when you have skills for those weapons and so forth. And I'm thinking to do this a different font, probably something a bit more classic. It's a bit too plain. I'm not really liking the design of it. Maybe we need to go with some serif. Yeah, that definitely does look better than the sans serifs that we had here. Kind of do like that, but it's kind of going back to the sans serif. House of Cards is essentially what we're already using. We could do that as well and just give some spacing here, maybe a 50. I think that looks pretty good. And I'm thinking to put it between here and the L. And let's do the classes. So I'm thinking we're going to have a big image here, which is going to be essentially the class that I'm potentially going to play, which is going to be Wand and Tome. And so we're just going to quickly remove its background. There's many ways to do this, but we're just going to do select subject, and this should easily select the subject that we have right here. And you can see that it didn't select that well, so let's try select and mask. And normally I would pen tool this, but since I'm just doing this for fun in a video, it doesn't really have to be perfect, and we just do it this way. And you can see that it did a pretty good job as well. And then I'm going to add a threshold to the image, straight clipping mask, and we can play around with the image just like that. We can also add a filter to the image, which would give it a bit more texture. Something like this. You can see when you zoom in, there's a lot more texture compared to what it had before. Now that we have that there, we're also going to add the other classes. I'm thinking to have that around this one some way or another. I did originally have this spacing here, but I'm not really seeing what I would do up there. And so I think I'm going to bring it back up. Again, bring this up like that. We can also draw a shape around it just so that it doesn't look like it just randomly got cropped out. Something like this. And then let's remove the fill and bring this to the back and probably reduce the thickness that it is right now. Something along the lines of this. looks pretty cool. We could do something like this. We can even bring it a bit higher up and make it bigger just so that it fills in that void. Let's do something like that. Now that we got all this, we're going to add the other classes. I'm thinking, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to have to add them in this line here. or we can add some here as well on the side, which would probably be a cool concept to do. So we're just going to do random squares right here just to see how it would look. And I also want to do the same width for each square. So we're going to go with that, and let's bring these down. Probably something like this, and we're going to have 2 classes here, and then we can have the other 4 down here. These classes, let's say they could be the classes that I would secondly go for, and so we're going to go with sword and shield, create clipping mask to that, which basically makes the image attached to that square, and we're just going to make the square have a fill. Doesn't matter the fill that you're going to have. We're going to go something like that, and then let's just quickly do the next one, which would do the great sword, and we're going to add this one, create clipping mask as well, and we'll add it to square. So now that we have those, I'm going to quickly add the filter galleries to them as well, and let's just quickly go with that. It's a bit too much. We might have to reduce it just because it's a smaller image. So we're going to go filter gallery, and again, let's play around with the settings, try to get something that works for what we need. Probably something around there. And again, we're going to do the same for this one. We're just going to go filter gallery, and it's automatically going to select it already for us. And I'm also thinking to add some color to these images here. And so I'm thinking we're just going to add a gradient map, create a clipping mask to that. And we're just going to go through the gradient maps that we have. Oh, I kind of do like that. Can also play with the blend modes just to get a different amount. Definitely like the color burn. I'm going to do the same for the great sword. And then we're probably going to have more text down here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, or we're just going to do the other boxes of the classes. And so we have an additional 4 classes, but the squares need to be this large. And so we're just going to move this image here. To make it easier, we're just going to paint it green just temporarily. And then let's move this up a bit. We can always adjust it later, but I think this would look really cool to have all the classes here. And then let's start by adding them. Now that we have that, I want to add some more text here, and I'm thinking something like new MMORPG 2024, and we can do something like this and just make it large. I think that looks really cool. And then down here we can add again the platforms that we originally had selected here, and so we're just going to play around with these. I'm going to start with the PS5, and we're obviously going to do an overlay of white, and we're going to make these small. I'm thinking in this empty spot we can add like a boss or a in-game item. And then I found this crazy looking type boss, and I think it matches with our style that we're going for the poster. And so we're gonna quickly remove its background, see how it looks. I think that looks really cool. You guys can let me know what you think. And we can also do this new MMORPG. We can have sort of this color that we have here. It looks really cool. Let's also add some filters just to enhance the design. And there you go. That's my poster design for Throne and Liberty. Let me know if you guys are going to be trying out the game as well when it comes out. And I'll also have all the files that I've used in the description so that you guys can follow along if you would like to create the same or a similar style. And I would love to see what you guys create as well if you're going to create something similar. Make sure to just send it to my Instagram, Creative Barrows, or you can also just send it to me with a link on the YouTube comments. I don't really mind how you guys do it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.